Thank you so much for that warm introduction. I don't know if you all saw me bopping my head a little earlier, but I got a little warmed up because we had some go-go going on in here. And as a Washington, D.C. native, and when I say that, people say, oh, are you from Washington? Are you from Virginia? Are you from Maryland? I'm like, no, I'm a D.C. girl. Oh, you're from Virginia? Oh, you're from Maryland? No, like unicorns actually exist. There are people that are from the Washington, D.C. area. And so, number one, I want to say how excited and how proud I am to be in this room with you all today. To our scholarship recipients, congratulations. This moment matters. Don't take it for granted. It matters beyond measure. Because what's happening right now is you are making the first step in a decision to say, I'm investing in myself. And that is major. Everybody doesn't come to that revelation at any point in their journey, whether they're starting off or whether they're even in a place like me where I'm building a new career. So as Reggie told you, I've spent a considerable amount of time in financial services. I moved to a new city, now 10 years ago. I came to Charlotte from Washington, D.C., almost sight unseen. I came here, I got acclimated to life in the Queen City. I became a social media influencer, and now I'm a small business owner running a productivity coaching firm. So I took what I love about corporate America and I wanted to pour into people in a different way. And so that's how I got to coaching, which is why I am super excited to have a conversation with you and share this moment with you. It is really important to understand that the founding steps that you take in these moments are going to be critical to the lessons you learn moving forward. Because you never know where your journey is going to take you. When I thought about this moment, I asked myself, what is something that I want to share in this room that I wish someone had shared with me? That's where I started. I was like, what do I want to share? What's the message? And what I realized is that I want to share with you about this idea and this concept of currency. Well, I mean, number one, the finance girl in the room, no shocker, I want to talk about currency, but not currency in the way that you think. I'm going to make an obvious statement here. Everything costs. Everything you touch, everything you look at, everything you experience, it costs. And how you pay for it really decides how you shape who you become, right? How you pay for it really shows you how you're going to shape your own future. So here's the story. My second job in financial services, I worked for a boutique, ultra fancy, high net worth wealth management firm in DC, DuPont Circle. It was very tight-knit. It was a high-performance culture, and really the version of culture that they created meant that we spent every waking moment together. We worked together. We ate together. We socialized together. We vacationed together. My husband's sitting here. He can tell you how many vacations we literally took with the company. I didn't have a moment to myself. I was always on. I was always available. I was always at someone else's disposal. I realized that I didn't have my own headspace. I didn't have my weekends to myself. I didn't have anything other than what I perceived to be this amazing career. And so in that moment, the pay was phenomenal. The lifestyle was claustrophobic. It was smothering me in ways that I did not realize were important. And so I came to the realization that just because something pays you does not mean it's profitable for your life. I'm gonna say that again. just because something pays you doesn't mean it's profitable for your life. So that led to probably, gosh, the most substantial lesson I learned in my career. All currency is not financial. All currency is not financial. And so, as you think about how you pay for things in your life, this is kind of where it starts. And so I want to share with you what I believe the 5 currencies are that you'll use in this next step. Gosh, you'll actually use it in any step moving forward. As you think about what those things are, what I want you to realize is that life will always ask you for something in exchange for the future that you want. If you ground yourself in that realization that it's all going to cost you, then you're better equipped to deal with the challenges as they come, right? So I'm going to share with you what I believe those 5 currencies are. The first one is discipline. Discipline is about the promises you make to yourself, right? These are the things that you do when the excitement wears off. This is how you show up and do the things you say you're going to do when you don't feel like doing it. We all have those moments, right? You know what you're supposed to do. You know what you should do. You know what you committed to. And yet you don't feel like it. Discipline is the place that matters. This is the space for you where you make promises to yourself and build trust with yourself. Because every promise that you make to yourself where you don't keep your word, that's where things start to slip. So that number 1 currency is discipline. The second currency that we're going to talk about is time. Time is the currency that we waste the fastest. Literally the fastest. You would think it's the third one, and we'll get to that one in a second, but time is literally the currency that we take for granted the most. It's the one we can't get back. It's the one that we don't intentionally waste on purpose. It's 10 minutes here. You imagine scrolling on your phone? How much time you spend scrolling on your phone? And you look up and you're down the TikTok rabbit hole and you're like, wow, I've been on here 30 minutes. You just wasted your number 1 currency. You didn't even do anything. You're like, no, I'm entertained. This is good. And you look up and 32 minutes have passed. And you are like, what happened to the time? Or you're sitting in bed on your iPad looking at whatever you're looking at. And then you look at the clock and you're like, I should have been asleep 25 minutes ago. This is how you unintentionally waste time. And time is a currency that we need to make sure that we're thinking about. So when you think about time, what I want you to do is I want you to treat your time like your money. I want you to pay attention to where you're spending it. I want you to question what it's funding. And I want you to make sure that it's worth it in the investment. Treat your time like you treat your bank account. The third currency we're going to talk about is money. Money, 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 money. I know that reference is probably lost on quite a few people in this room. But money is your first currency. Not only is money your first currency, but it is the currency that you misuse the most. We all know it. When people leverage their money to show you how well off they're doing, please do not fall for it. You're gonna fall for it, but don't fall for it. Spend your money on freedom, options, and opportunity. That's where you spend your money. You spend it on freedom, options, and opportunities. You spend it and use it to create breathing room for yourself. You use it to create soft landing places for yourself. Now, here's the truth of the matter, right? We are all going to make money mistakes. Every last one of them. From the youngest person in this room to the oldest person in this room. We're all going to make money mistakes. Just because we're mature doesn't mean we don't make money mistakes. It just happens, right? I mean, there are quite a few occasions where I ask my husband, what purse can I buy? And I know I shouldn't. I'm like, I get this bag? He's like, no. Are you sure? It's like, yes. Because here's what the deal is. Money tells the story of what you value. Money tells the story of what you value. And at some point, you're going to have to revisit that. And you're going to look at what you spend your money on, and you're going to ask yourself, is this the person that I want to be? Does this display the value that I want to reflect? So remember I told you to treat your time like your money. And now I want you to treat your money with care. Because your money tells the story of what you value. And if you don't walk away with anything other than that, what I want you to make sure that you understand is that this is not about perfection, right? You told you, I'm not a person who lives a perfect life. What I want you to do is be self-aware. I want you to recognize where your pitfalls are, where your challenges are, where your opportunity sets are, so that when you are ready to pivot and make a different decision, you are well equipped to do it. So, let's talk about the fourth currency. The fourth currency is energy. Energy is the currency that, let's see how I want to put this. Energy is the currency that you ignore until you don't have any more. You ignore it until you don't have any more of it. When you're thinking about your energy, it is your mental capacity. It is your ability to show up. It is your ability to stay sharp and to stay focused. And when you don't have your energy in the right place, nothing else works. What I want you to do is think about how you protect your energy. It's not quite like time, right? Like your time, you can't get back at all. Once that's gone, it's gone. You can rebuild your energy, right? But what I think is the most profound way to think about your energy is you spend it in places that grow you, and you don't spend it in places that drain you. That's a big distinction. You spend it where it grows, not where it drains you. And so when you think about energy, here's the cornerstone of how I want you to value your energy. Protect your energy like your rent depends on it, because eventually it will. If you can't consistently show up, whether you're a small business owner, whether you work in corporate America, whether you're a student, if you don't have enough energy to show up in a positive mindset and be productive every day, you put yourself behind the 8 ball. And that's not what we're trying to do here, right? So you protect your energy like your financial responsibilities depend on it, because truly they do. So let's move to our fifth currency. Our fifth currency is emotional capacity. Emotional capacity is the invisible cost of when we say yes to too much. That's a big one. It's why I save it for last. Because all the other ones seem really, really obvious. But emotional capacity, like, there are moments where you say, I just don't, I can't. I really can't. When you say you can't, you're not thinking about your discipline, you're not thinking about your time, you're not thinking about your money, you're not thinking about your energy. You are thinking about your emotional capacity to contribute constructively. That's where I can't comes from. When you are having that I can't moment, it is because you don't have the capacity to do anything else. Have you ever felt tired and you didn't do anything? You feel exhausted and you haven't shed the one thing off your to-do list. It's because you don't have any emotional capacity and bandwidth to be productive. And so as you think about your emotional capacity, what I want you to also know is that stress, anxiety, confidence, doubt, pressure, it all takes up space. They all take up space. If you don't create the room for your mental capacity, you're already drained. Again, this is a place where you're starting behind the 8 ball. So, protect your mental capacity, your emotional capacity, even when it feels like you're not doing anything. Even when it feels like you're not doing anything. Because what you also need to do is to recognize that in those moments where you're not doing anything, where you don't feel like there's action, those are the moments that you decompress. Those are the moments that you reset. And those are the moments that you think about what's next. Something that I mentor and coach people on all the time is just because you can fly by the seat of your pants does not mean you should. I tell people that constantly because they wake up, they start their day, they get their coffee, they're in the car, they're on the way to work, they're doing all the things, they get through the day, no self-reflection, no preparation. This is how you drain and shrink that mental capacity in moments where you don't even recognize it's happening. So, you've got 5 currencies that you need to protect. The 5 currencies and how you spend them will shape who you become. Sometimes you'll be really good at it. Sometimes you won't be good at it at all. You'll give yourself the grace to reset and recover. But if you know how to spend your currencies wisely, you won't owe anybody anything but your best. And that is really all you have to offer. And so sometimes you'll be high on time currency and maybe you'll be low on discipline currency, right? I spend a lot of time low on discipline currency. But knowing what these currencies are and how much you keep in your pocket is half the battle. So, one of the things that I like to do is I actually have poker chips. I don't have them with me today, but I keep poker chips. And I keep them in my pocket, and I don't count them, but it could be anything. You could keep 4 quarters in your pocket, 5 quarters, let's say 5. Keep them in your pocket. You keep a representation that keeps you focused on what these 5 currencies are. Discipline, time, money, energy, and emotional capacity. And again, if you use these currencies wisely, you have opened the floodgates of freedom, opportunity, and option. And so you all are honored today to start this journey in a new way with new tools at your disposal that give you a leg up. And when I think about my journey, I always wish that there was somebody in the room to give me a leg up on my journey. And so hopefully these are tools that you will use, not just at this stage in your life, but when you find yourself further down the road, you're like, oh, this is spending my time currency. It's about building better behaviors, and it's not about perfection. And I am super excited that this is your journey. I am super excited to be a part of it. And I am hoping that the sky will always be the limit for you. So, thank you for your time and inviting me, Ms. Sheena. And again, to our recipients, congratulations.